Hello, movie lovers. Welcome back to SignaTeak channel. Today is all about fresh cinema experiences, and I can't wait to share my thoughts on the newest filmmaking its mark. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into the recap of this exciting cinematic adventure. After interrogating a tyrant's lawyer in Florence, Italy, he is chased by gunmen with heavy weapons. Spy 2 is shot through a window while trying to escape, and 5, who is actually a doctor, is seen attempting to operate on 2's gunshot wound as the crew pursues him. 6 is now a very skilled driver. He runs away from the gunman, which leads to many car accidents. While being chased by a motorbike, 2 decides to stand up for his crew and shoots the driver, leaving him injured. As the chase intensifies, 1 asks 4 for help. Fourth, his other member of the vigilante group is Skywalker, who is good at walking through buildings. He tragically helped eliminate several gunmen. The person who gouged out the lawyer's eyes uses the eyeballs to unlock communications between his main target, Lovich, and his 4 generals. The number 3 hitman helped the 4 take down the remaining gunmen. But in the process, 6, a fast and furious driver, was killed in the most brutal way. The team is now destroyed. They wrapped around his body. In a moment of emotion, they threw him into the sea. No one knew about the 6, as intimate relationships with members were prohibited. One person then tells the group that they had to find number 7 instead of number 6. The film then shifts to Soldier Falcon on a mission in Afghanistan, who accuses Blaine of actually being a sniper for Delta Force. During a failed mission in Afghanistan, Blaine witnesses his entire team die. He had a chance to save his teammate with a shot, but did not do so due to orders from higher-ups. This incident caused Blaine to live with guilt for the rest of his military career. As Blaine was thinking about his teammates and the hype mission in Afghanistan, something popped into his mind. He gives Blaine a chance to fight a world-class evil leader. He invites him to join the crew as number 7. Blaine, who wants rehabilitation, accepts the offer. Blaine faked his death. A solemn funeral was held in memory of the soldier, accompanied by military paparazzi. Blaine was able to attend his funeral as his brother cried uncontrollably. One person introduces 7 to the team. He conveys the crew's vision and says their goal is to overthrow the world's bad leaders. He reminds 7 that he is dead. He is therefore prohibited from visiting certain cities and must sever all ties with his loved ones. Then tell the crew about the next mission and main goals. Lovich Elimov, a Turkish dictator who treated his people like slaves. The researchers then discuss the benefits of dying but not really being dead, such as not paying taxes, not having a criminal record, and sneaking around with your girlfriend. One added that the most important aspect of being alive even in death is freedom. He then tells them about the coup he is planning against Torsian dictator Lovich on the Day of the Dead. He tells them that he had to defeat his 4 generals because they are the most powerful people around him. Then they must rescue Lovich's democracy-loving brother, who was taken hostage. Blaine then wants to know more about Lovich's story, and the film takes us back to the time when it all began in Turkestan. Due to Lovich's military regime, people fled the country. Lovich is so cruel to his people that he defeats anyone who tries to rebel against him. One person who was still a philanthropist at the time traveled to the border of Turkestan to do good to the sick and injured people. But he did it just for the newspaper, and he wasn't really from the heart. Just when he was about to donate money for the people of Turkestan, Lovich launched an airstrike on the border, killing many people, young and old. Seeing so many defenseless people die that day, he changed his mind and decided to actually do a good deed. Create an anonymous vigilante group to overthrow this tyrannical leader once and for all. It is believed that Rowich's philosophy is to use its powers to communicate, unravel, and instill fear in its enemies. You meet Lawich after a stage play about a tyrant. He tells him that no matter what actions the tyrant takes, justice will be served, as shown in the opera he has just seen. Lawich tells him that in opera and drama the hero always wins, but in real life this is not the case. A man befriends a girl he meets at the opera house, suddenly develops an emotional connection with her, has sex with her, and then becomes a ghost. The movie then cuts to the present. Number 4 reveals how Lovich's younger brother Murat was imprisoned. He told 7 that number 2 had actually worked for Lovich before being hired. In fact, she attacked Murat when he tried to escape. She caught him and imprisoned him. Therefore, part of their mission is to free Murat from prison, who is a saint. Back in the present, the most feared dictator Lovich orders his 4 generals to go to Las Vegas and meet with arms dealer Victor there. One of them then tells the team that he is going to Las Vegas to defeat the 4 generals. He tells them they need to be careful because Las Vegas has more facial recognition software than anywhere else in the world. After completing an arms deal with Victor in Las Vegas, the generals decide to have fun by partying and getting drunk with the girls at a hotel. 2N and 3RE Place had the worst disguises when they dressed up as tennis players at one of Las Vegas' biggest venues. They go to the room where the generals were staying. He heard the knock and shot one of them, who was looking through the door. They shot the other 2 in the most unexpected way ever. Then we moved to another room where the general, who knew Murat's location, had sex with one of the girls. They pointed a gun at him and demanded Mr. Murat's whereabouts. One person then criticized their disguises, saying they looked like clowns and overlooked their own Las Vegas biker costumes. After the bloody incident, 2 and 3 develop an emotional connection as they have sex with each other. The next morning, 3 tells 2 that he has to go somewhere and talk to someone. He went to the hospital to see his mother, who was suffering from memory loss. He tells her about her mission and how she wanted to eliminate her bad guys in order to erase her own bad past and write her new one. However, his mother was not happy with him, calling him a murderer because of his past actions. 3, originally known as Javi, once worked for a mafia man named Diego. During the mission, he kills the girl's father and suddenly feels guilty for his actions and stops working for Diego. Later that night, as he was about to leave, someone stalked him, much like Bruce Wayne does with Gotham's criminals. He held a gun to his head and warned him not to date or have anything to do with anyone. He says they must respect them because they sacrificed everything for this mission. In Torgistan, an angry Zidarawi addressed his men about the murder of the general. He had to replace the general, so he summoned 4 more men in turn, saying it would be unwise to trust those who had stood the most upon hearing of the general's death. Threw them out of the building. As the team prepares to fly to Hong Kong to rescue Murat, the 4 tell the crew how Murat was scouted by 1 during a failed mission. It turns out that people don't like the word family. So if you get stuck on a mission, he won't come back to pick you up. In the next scene, Lovich leaves to visit his brother in Hong Kong. He asks if he knows anything about the attack on the general, but Murat claims he knows nothing. Lovich then tells Murat that these attacks on his subordinate generals will only increase the intensity of the attacks. He tells Lovich that he is returning to Tatarstan and that he has given strict orders to his muscular bodyguard to injure Murat if anything happens to him. One person informs the team about the mission. It will be a kidnapping in the penthouse to rescue Murat from prison. They plan to use the crane as a sniper's nest for 7 people and then use the crossover to escape from the penthouse. On the day of the mission, 2 and 3 arrived in a Ferrari wearing masks, and 4 took a zip line to reach the penthouse. 7 secured a position on the crane, and 5 waited outside the building for an escape plan. 2 and 3 people entered the building and released nitrous oxide into the air as they defeated the guards. 4 tries to rescue Murat and defeats the men guarding him. On the way out, they were faced with a huge number of men, which, according to the plan, was not supposed to happen. 7 then tells her to hold on to something. As water flooded the entire building, he shot through the glass of the pool, wiping out Lovich's men. The team manages to escape using a zip line, but 4 is unable to make it in time as he has to kick Lovich's bodyguard away. 1 wanted to stay true to his philosophy and leave the 4 behind on a mission, but in a touching scene, 7 stopped him from leaving his teammates behind again. He gets out of the car with a sniper and shoots Kick, saving 4. The next day, after completing his mission, 7 got into an argument with 1. 1 says that the mission is more important than the man, but 7 is not willing to accept that idea and tells the team that his name is Brain and that he will not leave any soldiers behind. The teams then call each other's names as they get closer. When they arrived in Jostan, as Lovich was preparing to address the people, someone hacked the state television and gave Murat a seat to preach democracy, which inspired the people and led to a revolution. The team then arrived on a private yacht. They prepared for 1-on-1 or 3-on-1 combat with armed Lovich soldiers. One person activates a magnetic invention and defeats most of the guards. They went to look for Lovitch, but the yacht began to sink due to an explosion. The four men on the upper deck were surrounded by Lovitch's men and had no chance of escape. They had to pursue Lovitch as he tried to escape or rescue four, risking their mission. But one changed his mind and began rescuing four. Lovitch escaped from the sunken yacht by boat. When he boards the helicopter, he discovers that it is being piloted by Murat and the Ghost team. Lovitch begs for mercy from his brother, but is told it is too late as his sins have caught up with him. Lovitch then demanded a death with dignity, but was dropped off at a refugee camp in Tatarstan, where angry residents attacked him and bludgeoned him to death. After Lovitch's death, Murat was appointed as the new president. And the movie ends here. Thanks for watching our video. If you enjoyed this film recap and want more, subscribe now, like, and share captivating stories with your friends. Tell me which movie you'd like me to summarize next. See you soon?